Hi there guys, welcome back to the channel, Machining with Joe. So in today's video I want to take you on a journey and present something to you which I don't think any other creators at the minute are doing here on YouTube. So as a little bit of a backstory to this, as a person I've always enjoyed getting out and about and travelling and so forth. So you might remember from some really early videos on in the channel, we used to go out in a camper van, which I really enjoyed. So a project which I've been undertaking this year and something I'm going to be sharing with you today is that camper van build. But whoa, before you turn off the video, this isn't going to be like a normal camper van build you see on YouTube. What I wanted to do is take the sort of love and passion that I've got here in the workshop, machining, making videos for you guys, and incorporate that with a camper van build. So the intention of this camper van build is one, to get out there and enjoy life with my family, but also I want to take the mini lathe with us and make some really cool machining videos out in the wilderness, and that is something I don't think anyone is doing here on YouTube at the minute. So stay tuned, it's going to be a really cool video, show you the progress and the challenges I've had this year and tell you what's coming next. Before I take you on this epic tour of my campervan build, let me just sit back, enjoy some coffee and take in these views. And while doing so, let me talk about why this took so long to get to the point it is today. At the start of summer then, I chose the van that I wanted, and that was a Peugeot Boxer. Knowing what I wanted out of it, I made quick work and started cutting holes into it to mount things like the extractor fan and the side window. Things were going so smoothly and the van was looking incredible. Even the electrical system was coming along really well. And then out of the blue, after a couple of weeks, I ran into the first problem. And this problem wouldn't just be a minor problem, it turned out to be major. So what I thought was a blown head gasket actually turned out to need a whole new engine due to the head bolts being stripped by the previous owner. So this set the build back a considerable amount of time, but also funds. But we now have a reliable van. Maybe the first place to start then on this van tour is showing a little bit how the living area works in here. So like I said, the idea of this camper van is for my family to get out and about. So for those of you who aren't aware, I have me, my partner Zoe, and then my two children, Molly and George. So four of us have to travel in this van, have to sleep in this van when we're on the road. So maybe the first cool feature I'll show you is the bench seat in the front and how the swivel mechanism works. To turn this bench seat round then and really open up the living area, just have these twist knobs down here, two at the back, two at the front and one on the side. With those 5 knobs all undone, the seat can now swivel round. A bit tight. And just like that, we've opened up the living space in here quite considerably. Of course, it wouldn't be a living area then without some form of evening entertainment. And as you can see here, I've gone big. I've invested in this 32-inch TV. So the TV itself is really good. Just runs off a 12-volt DC system, which we'll get into in a little bit more details just in a moment, the sort of setup that I've got in this van. But basically this is a smart TV, so it's got the usual Netflix, Amazon, link your phone with it. And something which I really wanted in the van, I've also got somewhere up here, is a HDMI cable. So if I'm sitting doing any work on the laptop, I can plug the HDMI cable in and have this as like a second monitor. So it's really good for when trying to do some work out and about. I suppose then the most logical thing next to do is to move on to the electrical system. You know, talk you through it a little bit, not too much details, just what I've got in here and the capabilities the van has when out on the road. Tucked away then under these cushions, if we just move Mr. Cow, move this and lift this up. Ugh. Under here we have this is the sort of part that I call the, what would you call it, the service area, let's say. It's where all the sort of consumable fuses are and some trips. So this is the sort of area, if there's ever a problem, I should only ever have to access this area. But just in a moment, I'll lift the front of this up so you can see underneath this and everything else I've got going on down here. But as a short input, we have some of the switches over on this side here, which switch things on and off. We have our fuse board here. We have a few maxi fuses here, positive buzz bar here, and this is a RCD trip for the solar system up on the roof, which again can talk a little bit more later on, but as a summary, I went with the Renogy 100-watt solar panels, and I've got 3 of them on the roof, so 300 watts of solar up there. And just back here we have our little Bluetooth module, which allows me to monitor all the inputs and outputs of the van via my phone. So luckily under here I don't actually have to go in that often, but if I do, quick release button here to unlatch it, we open it up, and in here we have all the major electrical components. So down here we have a 200 amp hour lithium ion battery. Up here we have the Renogy 2000 watt pure sine wave inverter, and then back here we have a DC to DC charger. So what that does is basically charges up the leisure battery from the car alternator and also the solar power. The good thing about this system here, I would say it's quite a smart system. So if it detects that the leisure battery is fully charged but the car battery isn't, it can divert solar power back to the car starting battery. So that's really good. But again, all of this is sort of tucked away on a modular drawer system that I can pull in and out, and I very rarely have to come in here. So yeah, that's sort of that setup down there. So sticking with electrical appliances and what else I've got in the van, over here we have our controller for our Max air fan. So that's fitted up here in the front, and basically this allows me to draw air in, suck air out, or just use it as a ventilation sort of thing, which is, yeah, that's been really good so far. No issues, really happy with that. Down here we have our Renogy display panel, let's call it. This basically is linked to a shunt fuse which is down on the battery, and what that does in live time, it reads the current coming out of the battery or going in. So it's really good to know how full your battery is. You can see here I'm currently at 99%. Been sat here for a couple of hours now and it's not really dropped that much, so that's pretty good. And just generally we've got sort of lights, got 2 of these charge stations, one each side of the van, where we can charge phones, speakers, camera gear, stuff like that. So that's really handy. Now, something really interesting and something where I took advantage of the Black Friday sales. 2 seconds. Oh, it's heavy. It's big and heavy. Oh, I don't know if any of you guys have seen these, but I bought one of these Jackery power banks, and this is actually what's going to be powering the mini lathe when I start doing these outside videos. So it's a 107 amp hour battery, and as you can see, you can plug standard 230 volt appliances straight into this. So I've not yet tested it, but on the calculations that I've done, the fact that the Warco mini lathe, it's got a 500 watt motor, this thing should be able to run the Warco lathe for about 2.5 hours. And that is assuming we're going to be maxing out 500 watts for the whole time. You know, I doubt that's going to be the case. I'm hoping this thing's going to be more like 3 hours worth of machining, which for projects on the mini lathe, 3 hours is going to be more than enough. You know, big projects that I'm still going to be doing in the workshop on the Harrison M300 and on the mill, yeah, they're going to take longer. But for small little projects, which that's my intention of doing them out and about, this thing paired with the mini lathe, which we'll get onto the setup and that later on in this video, yeah, it's going to be superb. Next, let's move on to the sort of sleeping arrangements, and maybe we'll touch a little bit on storage. So yeah, sleeping arrangements. As I said, there's a potential that there's going to be 4 people sleeping in here when we're out and about travelling. So for that reason, I needed to be really conscious of how I planned the layout in here. You know, one, it was really important to have 4 proper fixed seats for when we travel with proper seat belts. But also when we're sleeping, you know, it needs to be a comfortable situation where we're not feeling like, you know, this isn't very nice. Me personally, don't mind too much, but I know my partner and the kids, they're not going to want to be sleeping in poor conditions. So for that reason, down the bottom here, where the kids are going to be sleeping, that's a full-size single bed. And luckily at the minute, my children are still quite young, so both of them are going to be able to fit down there absolutely fine. And then up here, we have a fixed single bed, and this part of the bed here pulls out, and then another bar comes in here with a foam mattress extension, and then it turns this into a double bed. So having the capability of pushing that back in the daytime keeps the living space nice and big, and then at night time when we need to curl up and go to sleep, we can set this up as a double bed. So that's pretty cool. So far seems to be working pretty well. So yeah, that is the sort of sleeping arrangements. Maybe next it's a good idea to move on to the kitchen area. So again, for comfort and making this van feel more like a home than an actual van as such, I wanted to have a nice kitchen area. I didn't want things where you had to get them out of drawers to set up a cooker, anything like that. I wanted most things fixed in place. So for that reason, we've got a 2-burner hob over here, which for cooking most things is nice and easy to use. Over here, chopping board, which pops out of there, and then you get access to your sink and running water. And when not in use, this just goes back in here. Perfect. And it keeps this area nice and, you know, open, allowing you to chop veggies up. You know, having kids, there's always stuff getting thrown on the side, so it's really nice to have this open area up top here. Down below, we've got cupboards for food, pantry stuff. We also have this up here as well. So up here we have saucepans, frying pans. Over on the left there, we have bigger, bulkier food items. And then down here, we have a cupboard here just for random food items. Another drawer here. Again, bit empty at the minute. Random food items down there. And then yeah, the bottom drawer is more of a utility drawer. And then over here we have a cutlery drawer with cups, saucers, you know, the likes in there. A little bit on the fridge while we're touching on this subject. So the fridge is a 12 volt DC fridge. Again, can link just straight in with the leisure battery. And it's a fridge freezer combo, but you can take the compartment out to make it just a fridge. And at the minute, that's what we're using it for when we're out and about. Don't really have the need at the minute for the freezer section, but I've upgraded to a little air fryer in the van, so maybe when we start travelling a little bit more, we'll be using the air fryer and some frozen chips or something like that for the kids. But yeah, that is sort of the kitchen area done, living room done, bedroom done. Next thing maybe left to do is go out to the back of the van, have a little bit look at the garage sort of area, and also talk you through how we're going to have this mini lathe set up here in the van. Onto the garage area of the van then, and with the back doors open we can see fully in here now. Down here at the back of the van we have the heart and soul of the heating for the van. This is a Chinese diesel heater. It's actually the same Chinese diesel heater I had inside the workshop, but I decided I needed it more in the van, so I've moved it in here, all plumbed in. So far, not really had any issues with that. On the other side, here is where we're going to have the mini lathe set up. So at the minute, there's a lot of junk in here, quite frankly, but as we move towards being actually out on the road with the mini lathe, what I want to have is a big drawer in here which pulls out, and in there is where the lathe is going to be, along with the Jackery power bank which is going to be powering that. So because I've crammed so much into the front, the garage area on this van isn't actually that big, but I think it's going to be enough for the adventures that we want to do. There we have it then. We're slowly coming to the end of this campervan tour video. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I know it's completely different to the machining videos that this channel has up until now solely been based on, but this is sort of a direction I want to start moving the channel. I still want to do the machining videos, really enjoy them, but I want to find a way of incorporate the machining and this sort of campervan lifestyle which I can enjoy with my family. So I hope you guys can get behind that, back that and support that. And for anyone new joining the channel, this is a completely new chapter. You're going to be seeing machining videos, camping, adventuring videos, and a mixture of both. So let's see what the channel brings in 2026. So next sort of things to do now, I've got a couple of small bits left to do in the van. Bench seat to build here for some more storage, the drawer system which needs to go in the back of the van, which is going to house the lathe and other parts and components. They're sort of the main videos that's going to be upcoming. Oh yeah, another one. I need to sort of restore the mini lathe. I've got to say, since having the Harrison M300, the Warco little lathe has taken a bit of a backseat and looking a little bit sorry for itself. So I'm probably going to do a very short restoration video on that, sort out the paint chipping issues, address any problems the mini lathe has, ready for when it comes here in the van in a sort of storage travel box. So that's going to be pretty cool. Right, with all that being said, that's the end of today's video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you're going to carry on supporting the channel as we move into this new phase of machining and adventuring. And see you next time, guys.